What's up, guys? This is Maayan Gordon. We are live at 5, and I have a really cool guest today here. Did you pronounce it Racquelle? I didn't even ask before the interview, you guys. This is how informal we are sometimes.
Yes.
We got Racquelle Pakutz?
Pakutz.
Pakutz. Oh my God. I always say it the opposite way. It was a good guess. So we are here today. She's got a really interesting story to share with you guys. But as always, I want to know, where are you guys watching from? Post in the comments what city, state, country, where are you watching from? And what is one thing that you're grateful for today? And then, Racquelle, could you please introduce yourself and tell people just a little bit about who you are as a person?
Sure. So I'm Racquelle Pakutz. I am president of Zen Freight Solutions, and I'm also an inspirational speaker, I guess. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I work with transportation all over the world. I had a CBD company last year for a hot minute and had a whole lot of challenges with that I think I can really share and inspire some other people to keep going in their life. And as a person, I think I'm just genuine. I really wear my emotions and my heart on my sleeve, and I'm always here to try to brighten everyone's day.
Awesome. I love it. So let's dive right into this CBD company. And I want to preface first, how many of you guys watching have heard of CBD, have heard the buzz around CBD? I think it's been a really hot topic for the past couple years now. It's been around for a long time, but it's really only been in the popular, I'd say, media, and gotten like a real pickup in terms of the entire economy around CBD very recently. And I think this has drawn a ton of people into it. I've personally been pitched by many different CBD companies who either want me to be an influencer or who want me to, be part of their multi-level marketing. And I'd love to hear, what has your experience been with CBD? But first, how did you hear about it? And where did your awareness start around CBD?
So I actually was introduced to CBD through my business partner, who was my massage therapist at the time. So he was all into essential oils, It really helped because I had a lot of chronic pain. I was really at burnout. And so at that point in time, and when you're overloaded with stress, your body hurts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found a lot of relief through CBD, and just sharing that with a lot of the people around me, they also found relief, and it really took off for us.
And how long ago was that?
That was just last year. We opened
just last year. Cool.
Yeah, just 2019.
Awesome. So that you did right when you discovered it is when you just dove into it in terms of a business as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, tell us about that. What continued the story? So after you found out about it from your massage therapist and you started trying it and getting this relief, what was next?
I couldn't quit talking about it. I really had to spread the word that this plant-based medicine could really help with a lot of other issues. Combining that with a natural, holistic diet and exercise program, just trying to walk every day. I really was able to get my whole body balanced. Prior to all of that, my hormones were all out of whack all the time, and I was always in a deep depression. It was a sad time.
Yeah. But it's cool to look back on now, right? And be able to see the difference and understand where you've come from. So I think anyone watching, if you guys have any questions about CBD in general, now is probably a really good time to ask, because Racquelle has probably lots of the answers. So in terms of the business side of it, tell us, how did that go? What was that journey like? Was it a good journey? Was it something, I heard you had a lot of obstacles with it. And what were those obstacles?
Oh man, we had so many obstacles. We were trying to beat the CBD rush, right? Like it was the craze in 2019.
Right.
It was April and we started the company in February and we had already sold over half of our first batch in 2 months. It was like looking awesome. Some of the hurdles we had were getting credit card processing. We never did get it completely set up. It was
right.
I worked with 4 different people, multiple applications, and never was it approved.
Yeah, I can completely attest to that. I have only very recently gotten credit card processing for my new social media agency, but we could never get it for our glass blowing business because it was connected to the marijuana industry, right? People, smoke out of pipes, and we did make pipes and dabbers and things like that, but we could never get credit card processing. We tried PayPal kicked us off, Square kicked us off, literally every platform you can think of that we tried. At some point, somehow would, either a customer would write in like, thank you so much for the awesome pipe. And then they'd be like, flag.
Right.
Or they just are very well connected in terms of like, they'll look up your Instagram accounts. Like they have people who go through, because part of it we were doing a high volume of sales. So any of those platforms, when you do a high volume of sales, they're going to take a closer look. When they take a closer look, they'd go, you're connected to the marijuana industry, so we can't do any processing for you. So I completely can relate to that struggle. It's very frustrating because you know that if you had the processing, that there's some orders you could get right away. It'd just be, tapping into that network. But without the processing, a lot of those places, it's not like, figure out a clever solution. You either have their processing, either you can take their credit card or they don't want to do business with you. And so it does make it really hard. I'd love to hear, how did you overcome that? Did you just do a lot of cash transactions, or what was the solution for you guys?
So our initial response to that was, okay, we're going to put up store locations. We're going to partner with other stores, have them sell our products, and then it's not like the main product being sold. So we could get around that.
Gotcha.
But a lot of companies were afraid of getting in trouble. So it became quite challenging. It mostly was just word of mouth. I would hand ship or hand deliver to people. It was just around this local area.
Oh, I guess one thing I should ask and interject is, so was this something you were running out of your house, or did you have an office space or something you were renting?
We were renting a place for where we created the material, like each bottle, all the bottles. But as far as an office, we didn't really have a place for anyone to go and physically pick up. We just had to meet them or give it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And in terms of the manufacturing side of what you were doing, were you buying CBD in kind of plant form and packaging it into capsules and then putting those into bottles and selling those, or what? How are you making your product?
Yeah, we bought the raw CBD and then infused it into essential oils.
In case people don't know what raw CBD is, it looks just like a marijuana flower. So it's a nug, it's a bud, it can be ground up. You can extract the oil from it. So just so people visually know what that is. Go ahead.
Yeah. It was a fun process, like finding a distributor and then finding a lab, to get everything third party tested,
right,
and show everything. There was a lot of challenges, but it was a really fun process to see how we overcame all of them. Really, it came down to the fact that we couldn't market any farther than where we were. Anything we tried to promote was banned. Anytime you hashtag CBD, it was banned. So you
get zero reach through the platform. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was quite challenging. It was a lot of guerrilla marketing. We were at a lot of local conventions and had pop-up booths, and we do really well. the next thing that kind of was a huge challenge in 2019 was the vape scare. So we had CBD vapes, and we immediately had to pull them off the market because we weren't taking any chances.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Makes a lot of sense. And that's so how much like product was that for you?
Um,
Was like that a big loss?
it wasn't, no, because
Okay,
we had
that's good.
just started into the vaping market because we weren't really sure how well it would be
You were
perceived.
dipping your toes at that point. You hadn't really dove in yet.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. As far as our product line goes, it was mostly tinctures and infused with essential oils. So we had different flavors, and they were all natural, all plant based.
Very cool. So like how many total products did you have that you were selling?
Well, we also had a skincare line. So I would say
You had a lot going on.
I would say with all of those items, all the different flavors, we had probably about 15 different things that you could choose from.
Wow, that is a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how much time were you spending like making product versus marketing product at I'm sure it was different at each point in the way. Probably up front you spent a little bit more time making product. But was it like a 50-50? Was it, heavy on the marketing side, heavy on the manufacturing side, so to speak?
Well, we had three people in the business. So one person specifically manufactured, and then myself and my husband handled the marketing and sales aspect of it. So I spent 90% of the time on trying to market and make sales.
Gotcha. Excuse me. Gotcha. So you also had like 100% of the pressure though, as well, because of that, to make everything work. Absolutely. So where at the height of your kind of success with the business, how much money were you making? And then what started to go wrong to the point where correct me if I'm wrong, but you're no longer doing the CBD business, correct?
Right, that is correct.
Okay, so walk us all through what was that process like, but tell us what was like the peak of it. What was the really good part? What did that look like?
The really good part came in, I would say, July of last year. We had gotten down to the very last of our very first batch, which was a quarter kilo of CBD. That made about, I don't know, 4,000 products. So we had already
Oh
sold
wow,
4,000.
that's awesome. Yeah.
So we recreated and doubled. So we got a half kilo of CBD the second time, therefore getting us about 6,000 products. If everything would have been sold, we probably would have profited around 40 grand.
Gotcha. So how much did you reinvest to be able to double that?
We reinvested it all.
All of it? Gotcha.
Yeah, we didn't take an income from the CBD business at all. It was a complete loss.
That's okay. This is such a great like example for people to understand. Like this is way more common in business. Actually, almost every person who has successful businesses has at least a couple of these types of failures. First, I've got one with my glass blowing business. We tried to expand, lost all the money that we put into trying to expand. Again, like got nothing out of it. It was about the same amount too. It was about $40,000. That seems to be like the amount you feel like extra confident. Like you get $20,000 extra dollars or $15,000 extra dollars, and you're like, what could I lose? But you don't realize with that investment, you tie yourself into something that is longer lasting often than the time it took you to get there. So this might be true for you, but right, it took you to July. How long did it take you from that point where you reinvested to kind of, decide that it was going to be a loss? And also, what did that look like in terms of your day-to-day? Like, did your day-to-day change as you were having a harder time making sales? And then also, what do you think was the reason why you were able to, sell the first batch so well, but the second batch clearly had a harder time?
So we actually never got to our second batch.
Oh, tell me.
We had an issue with our business partner and things fell south.
Okay.
And so he ran away with it.
Oh no. Oh, okay. That kind of total loss. That's really
Yeah.
unfortunate. That's the
Yeah.
worst because that's not only is it gone and that's emotional, but someone that you had a relationship with did that to you, and that feels extra awful. And I can relate, not quite in that way. But like we had an employee that we had a really kind of bad relationship with, which was certainly largely my fault for not understanding how to create good company culture back then. Also, not being as well developed of a leader and not understanding how to communicate in a way that was more encouraging than, defeating. But at the same time, to have someone who you put so much into and you really, really put like a lot of your time and energy into not just your business, but things specifically you did for that person, for them to just take and not care at all about you anymore, is certainly painful. So talk to me a little bit about that. Did you find out one day? Like, how did you find out?
It was all quite traumatic, I think, last year. It really hit us with a ton of bricks. It happened so I started my Zen Freight Solutions company in July. Right as we had ordered the second batch, I realized I wasn't going to have the money coming in. So I needed to have something else
Cash flowing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had an opportunity to become an agent from home, which was phenomenal. It just came out of nowhere. The universe always answers.
Awesome. Absolutely.
And we were in Houston visiting clients when our business partner called us up and said, "Hey, we need to have a meeting right now." We're like, okay. And dropped the bomb. We were halfway across the country, so we really couldn't do anything about it. And it allowed us to really think, should we try to mend this situation, and we just decided that really wasn't the type of person we wanted to continue a business on, even if we could make it successful.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. So you basically bowed out of the situation in order to save like your sanity and happiness and start making progress on something else that you had recently fallen into, and that you wanted to put more of your energy into. I assume that it had a lot to do probably with energy, where you understood if you were in that relationship, it would have stolen a lot of your energy, no matter what the monetary benefit would have been. Is that correct?
100%. And at the time, I didn't understand. I didn't understand why it was so hard, right? Like why it seemed like we never landed on the same thought. We weren't all on the same path, and it just didn't make sense. But looking back now, it wasn't meant to be. We weren't the right partnership.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something in the moment you come up with a lot of other things to focus on besides that feeling that you feel, because it's there, right? When you look back, you're like, I felt that we shouldn't have been partners. Like I felt that I should have let this employee go. Like, I felt I shouldn't have made this decision. But in the moment, you're focusing on something else. And I think that's a really, good thing to look back on, because it allows you to realize, one, you have more control over your focus than you had been giving yourself credit for. And two, that you can make yourself aware in those situations to a different level that you clearly hadn't been aware before. I think that, for me, it wasn't that I didn't sense it or pay attention to those feelings. I actually contemplated those feelings. I had conversations with my husband of, should we fire this employee? But I had something else that I was focused on. And it wasn't the energy that I was feeling. It was some other goal I was trying to achieve that didn't have anything to do with the human relationship. I think when you start focusing on things outside of the human relationship, because you're in a business and there's so many business things to be distracted by, it sometimes, and I think very, very often actually gets people into bad partnerships. I think it's actually really hard to find a good match as a partner for business, because there is so much emotion, there's so much intellect, there's so much creativity that has to match up in different ways. 100%. That really, even if in one area there's a mismatch, it's not so much that you have to be so perfectly matched, in love with each other type of deal. It's more that you have to match in many different areas, because if there's one area where there's a strong mismatch, at some point that's going to come up in the relationship, whether it's on the personal side or the business side, does not matter. It will affect, like, if you guys aren't friends anymore after being friends a long time, the business is not going to work well after that. And I think this is something people really don't consider a lot of times. They go, I don't get into business with my friends for this reason. And the truth is, anyone you do good business with, you will develop a strong friendship with. So I think it's important that you get to know that person or figure out who they are. This is something I've learned, is figure out who I'm getting into business with as a person ahead of time. And if there's something about that person that doesn't match with me, it's not there's something wrong with them. It's not there's something better with me. It's just a mismatch. Then I know, you know what? I should hold off here. Wait for someone else to come along, because there's always other opportunities like this one that fell right into your lap. So I'd love to hear, where did you go from there?
So, I went to Houston in July. That's when we then decided we were going to separate and close the company. We spent we closed the company officially December 1st. So we tried to sell off what we did have already. And everything else that we have left, we've been just giving away to whoever needs it.
I bet that feels really good.
It does. And you know what? The fact that he has the other part and we bought it all, I hope he knows that I give it away.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The whole purpose of the CBD company was to help other people with their issues with the pain management, and it was just out of love. So it just really was a bummer that it ended. But Zen Freight Solutions has been phenomenal. Such a blessing.
What do you do? What do you do with that company?
Oh, sure. So I'm a transportation manager. I work a lot in the oil field and energy, construction. I can help anyone get a truck all across the United States and Canada.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you're a transportation broker, essentially.
Yeah.
Very cool. So how does your job work? Do you sit at a computer and take calls? Like, how does it function? What's the process?
Yeah, I am glued to my phone and my computer all the time. I care a lot about every single shipment. So that's my main priority, making sure that anyone can get a hold of me and I have constant contact all the time.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. And how has it been going in terms of like everything emotionally from where you were, which was like kind of a devastated place, to clearly this awesome, bubbly, amazing place where you are now? Everyone, check it out. Racquelle is super happy. This is what success looks like. Whatever her financial situation, success looks just like this. So,
oh, thank you.
What was that? What was that journey? Did it just like happen once you like decided to be done with the company? Did it, or what was the process? How did you get there?
Oh, there's so many other things inside of that happened, but the whole process was just having the obstacles in front of us and just knowing that we were going to overcome them, right? Like just focusing on one issue at a time. So while we were also going through the CBD issue, my old company had decided to sue me as well. So,
oh my goodness, the stress. Oh my God, how did you deal with it? Wow, so how did you find out about that? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Was that in the mail? How do you even find out about being sued? I don't know.
It was in the mail. We were afraid of the mailbox for about a month. That's a really weird feeling if you've never been afraid of your mailbox, but it's silly. Yeah. It's so silly.
Absolutely. And then the relief when you see there's just junk mail in it was also,
okay, we're good.
Yeah.
No, it was a personal struggle, but you know what? I think all of those challenges happened for a reason, just so that we can now be where we are now. And you just keep pushing on, like I just couldn't let that stop me from living a life that I wanted. I wanted to be at home with my dogs. I wanted to have a family, which crazy enough, in a year now we're adopting a girl. And so
Wow, congratulations.
thank
That is so
you.
cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. It's just really a matter of, whatever you put your eyes on, that's where you're going to go. So setting those
Absolutely.
goals and sticking to them.
That's awesome. I want to take a quick break to shout out some people who are leaving comments. You guys are amazing. Ryan says, what was the main reason why? Oh, finish that sentence, Ryan. I am curious to see what you're asking. Say, what was the main reason why the what?
Oh,
All right. Mark says, super authentic share. Absolutely. You can tell that Racquelle is an amazingly genuine person. I asked her at the beginning of the interview how she would describe herself. She would describe herself as genuine. I think she pretty much nails it on the head right there. What is up, Hussein? We got Maureen. We got Aliu. I'm sure I mispronounced at least half of those names there. But you guys know that I'm shouting you out, and you know I'm doing it with love. We got Latasha again. Oh, my God, I'm going to have to get like oh, actually, yes. So you guys, I'm going to start doing a prize for people who like top fan of the week situation, top viewer of the week. And it's going to be something made out of glass by me. So if you're interested in the glass art that I make and you want something cool handmade by me, make sure you're showing up to the lives just like Latasha is. She's a superstar. We got Mike. How's it going? Con. Brooke says she loves CBD creams. I have to say, all the CBD creams I've ever tried smell really good. Like, I don't know what CBD particularly smells like, but they smell like the cream part is just really, really pleasant. They use always like very natural ingredients. And yeah, very smooth and soft.
Yeah, there's like a natural plant base that you can get. And I think we had jasmine in ours, so it really made
it, exactly. Lovely. I love it. Awesome. So I want to wrap this up here and ask you, what are you focused on right now? And then also, what are 3 just quick tips, actionable pieces of advice that you could give to people who are dealing with just a lot of stress, whatever their stressful situation, whether that's they lost their job, whether that's they hate being inside all the time and like just found out that they have 3 more months of lockdown, or whether, they're dealing with, let's say, a really stressful relationship. I imagine that some people, many people out there are dealing with a more stressed relationship situation because you're being forced to spend more time with your partner. So what kind of like 3 tips would you have for people in those situations? And then again, to follow that up, what are you focused on right now?
So right now, it's scary to say this, I am focused on writing a book.
Awesome.
I'm trying to share my story of all the stress and struggles from last year, and how if you set your attention on the positives and the things that you want in your life, that's the direction you're going to go.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm focused on. And as far as my 3 tips, definitely get outside. I am an avid hiker and nature person. Walking was my stress relief. I would just go and hit the trails and hike just wherever I could go, just to
love that.
The stress. The other is make sure that you know what your goal is, right? And remind yourself every single day.
Your why. Absolutely.
100%. It's important, even when you'd feel like you know it, to just remind yourself again.
To refocus. Yeah, just because you know it doesn't mean you're focused on it. And that focus is super, super important. Absolutely.
Exactly. And then just know to have fun. This is life. We only get one. And so we have to have fun with it.
Absolutely. Some of you business people out there need to be a little less serious. Why should you hop on TikTok? Because you got a stick stuck up your butt, as they say in the old school methods, and you need to take it out with a little TikTok. So I think it actually really does. It sounds like I'm being goofy, but there is an immense value you can get from doing something silly and goofy, because you will have to laugh at yourself. You'll have to do it. It's a response, whether you want it want to or not, you will do it, and it makes you feel good. One, just because of the happiness and the laughter, but two, it makes you feel like life doesn't have to be this like hustle, hustle, hustle game all the time. It can be fun. It can be fun for no reason at all other than you wanted to smile and have a good time. And I think that's a really great message to leave people with here today. If people want to get in touch with you, how would they do that? What's the best way?
I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as Racquelle Pakutz, and also Healthy Happy Hiker on Facebook.
Healthy Happy Hiker. That is awesome. I also really love hiking. Where do you live in an area where there's lots of accessible hiking trails?
I do. Yes, there's 4 different places within a half an hour drive. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah, always trying to go somewhere new.
Yeah, if you guys are looking to change your life, get a dog, take it on a walk every day. Seriously, that could be a game changer for you. It certainly has been a game changer for me and my 4 dogs. So leaving you guys today, I'll throw up my contact info as well. If you want to get in touch with me, here is my email address. And I really hope that you guys take away from this that no matter what struggle you're going through, if you just focus on what's right in front of you, focus on some positivity, the things you want instead of the things that are standing in your way, right? It's so easy, obviously, when something's standing right in your way to be staring at it and to focus on it. But if you can somehow focus your attention on the things you want, you will attract them into your life because you will take action towards them. When you think about things, you act towards them. When I think about watching a movie, I'm going to go watch that movie eventually. When I think about food, no matter how much I battle in my head to tell myself not to eat that cookie, if I continue to think about the cookie, I guaranteed will eat the cookie. So think about the things you want and you will guarantee that you will take action towards them. That's why that works. All right. Thank you again so much, Racquelle. I really appreciate you joining me. And everyone, have a great night. We will see you again tomorrow.
Thank you so much.